Hey there, Doodly Doo here. Today we are going to react to Mihono Bourbon, the hardworking cyborg by Yang with Agi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, this was recommended by one of you guys on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, if you want to join the Discord, link on the description below. And we are, pushing for 1K. And again, I'm not used to call to actions, but sub, comment, like, etc. All those things. Anyway,
For every genius in the world, there are millions
thank you.
of average Joes. We cannot choose if we're born rich or with innate talent. Not everyone can be Albert Einstein, and not every horse can be Symboli Rudolph. The difference between the super elite and us bottom dwellers might seem infinitely large, but with hard work, we can close the gap. In the world of Japanese horse racing, no
That's a
other
bad start
horse
for a lot of
embodies
those.
this idea more than Mihono Bourbon. In early spring of 1988, Keiji Haraguchi, the owner of a small family-run ranch, aspired to find a stallion to mate with his mare, Katsumi Echo. She was sired by Chalet, a French horse with 4 wins out of 12 races at the local level.
Not bad.
Similar to her father, Katsumi Echo had an unsuccessful career in the local
Ooh,
Kanto
1 out of
and
12.
returned to Haraguchi Ranch afterwards to begin her breeding career. Haraguchi had his eyes set on Mill George, son of the legendary Mill Reef, with 12 wins out of 14 starts.
Mill Reef.
Additionally, Mill George was the sire for Inari 1 and eventually became the broodmare sire for Seiyun Sky.
Oh,
when Haraguchi
okay.
went to make the request, he was hit with a harsh reality. He could not afford the seeding fee.
Damn.
After Inari 1's 8-win streak the year prior, Mill George's prices skyrocketed.
Yeah, that
He
makes
was
sense.
so expensive, Haraguchi could not even afford to be on the waiting list. At most, Haraguchi could only afford to spend 1 million yen.
What the fuck?
There was an alternative.
Wait, what? I got distracted.
At most, Haraguchi could only afford to spend 1 million yen.
I mean, you gotta understand. Nice pause, Doodle. 1 million yen back then is probably several million in today's today's day and age. I could not. Yeah. Anyway, you get what I mean, chat, right? So probably you could afford like a stud from like Big Red or like the smaller farms, right? Yushun Styling Station even.
Luckily, there was an alternative. Mill Reef had another son by the name of Magnitude, who was extremely cheap because of his...
See, Magnitude, this is not Magnitude today, by the way. This is Magnitude back then. I've had Magnitude cover a few of winter winter mares, right? I haven't had any luck with Magnitude, dude. Like he would nick supposedly with my broodmares. Like it would be S and like high 20s, even 30s, and the foal would just be shit.
Miserable performance as a racer. Haraguchi hired Magnitude to breed with Katsumi Echo for...
By the way, I don't know what anime this is, but I do know that Hikaru Tono voices this chick. Machikane Tanhauser. Same voice actress.
For just 500,000 yen, which could be...
I don't know if he knows this, if Yang knows this, probably, right? Because I would assume.
Paid
maybe, I don't know.
Period. 1 year later, Katsumi Echo birthed Mihono Bourbon on April 25, 1989. Many people were surprised how big Baby Bourbon was at birth.
Baby Bourbon.
Especially for being Katsumi Echo's first foal. It's said that his waist was so big,
dude, Ace Ventura.
As a foal,
yo, guys, most of you are Zoomers, right? Watch the Ace Ventura movies. These are so funny.
That his waist was so big, he got stuck when coming out. As a foal, Bourbon was often by himself and rarely interacted with the other older horses besides his mother. Additionally, Bourbon was incredibly docile, which was a trait he carried throughout his entire life. About a year later, the Mihono International Company purchased Bourbon for 7.5 million yen and gave him the name we all know now. His name is a combination of the Mihono title and the Bourbon dynasty from 16th century France. After their purchase, the Mihono Company notified trainer Tameo Toyama that his new trainee would arrive in April of 1991. Toyama immediately instructed Hadaguchi to switch Bourbon's feed to alfalfa and add calcium supplements to prepare the
Mm,
horse for his rigorous training program.
okay.
Alfalfa has almost double the crude protein content than most grass hays,
Build the
as well as being
muscles.
higher in calories. It is the ideal feed for performance horses, and Toyama wanted his new trainee to get as much protein as he can get.
So we're gonna add some protein, take some ice cubes, dip them in protein, throw them in
Oh
the
man.
add some protein, and then, and only then, can you add some protein and blend.
When Mihono Bourbon entered the Toyama stable, Tsukasa Yasunaga, Bourbon's stable attendant and assistant trainer, took pity on him because of Toyama's ruthless reputation. Training started immediately with one run of the Rito Training Center's sloped course. Bourbon easily cleared it with Yasunaga on the saddle. Over the next several months, Toyama steadily increased the number of runs per day and eventually had Bourbon running the track 4 times a day.
4 times.
Horses from other stables ran the slope course twice, maybe 3 times a day, and only several times a week. But Mihono Bourbon was running it 4 times every single day.
Damn.
He sprinted up the 26-degree incline, walked back down, and sprinted back up. Rinse and repeat. Toyama's intense slope training was known as Spartan training.
Spartans! What is your profession?
That's a good. That is very good. I like that. That took that caught me off guard.
About Mihono Bourbon's training program is a representation
The
of
funny thing is, I was like really thinking of like the historical trainings in Winning Post, and then just that out of nowhere,
criticism
like Randy Orton.
for his training style. Without a doubt, Spartan training produces results, but often at the cost of the horse. Many horses have broken down because of it.
Maybe him breaking down later on, maybe that's the drawback, right? Maybe that's the carryover from such really stressful training.
Toyama justified Spartan training by saying, "A racehorse cannot survive if it does not win, so I have to train it to win, even if I must be a demon. If I was even a genius fast horse,
I forgot that
then
he
I would
does
not
the
have to do
voices.
this training. But he's not a genius, and he must train hard." While we're on the topic of Tameo Toyama, Mihono Bourbon's father in the game is a depiction of Toyama. Bourbon states that her father was a trainer and that she trained with him from sunrise to sunset.
Damn, that's too much for a kid.
In real life. Fun fact, Toyama and Sakai Watanabe, Fujikiseki and Jungle Pocket's trainer, were the first pioneers who embraced the slope track after its construction in 1985. That actually brings a lot of color as to what may have caused Fujikiseki to break down so early in his career.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I believe the main reason Bourbon was able to tirelessly perform each run was because of all the food he ate. He was known as a heavy eater whose appetite rivaled Oguri Cap.
Oh shit!
It's said that at one point, Bourbon ate as much as 60 kilograms in a day.
That's wow, 120 pounds.
His large appetite was only natural. Additionally, Yasunaga described Bourbon as a horse who was unfazed regardless of the situation. Whether he was in a completely new environment,
he's very professional.
or under harsh conditions,
I get it.
Bourbon was always calm.
Okay.
Interestingly, the only time Bourbon showed any signs of a temper was if someone interrupted his meals or when he was being challenged in a race. A month.
Kyoe Bogan. That's what happened right there. That's what happened right there for this little Kiwi to freaking yoink it from him.
Before Mihono Bourbon's debut, during their usual slope training, Bourbon surprised everyone with an amazing run. He cleared the final 500 meters of the slope in 29.9 seconds on his second run, which is unheard of for a 2-year-old horse. Most of the older...
I wonder how do they get footage like this, like training footage? Is there like a data bank or something? Because
more developed horses could not breach the 30-second threshold.
Is this actually Bourbon?
Many of the staff thought it was just a fluke, but Bourbon clocked his 4th run.
Holy old computer, Batman. Damn. This is older than most of you guys.
Won that day with the same exact time.
I mean, not gonna lie, this is a bit. I'm not gonna say anything.
After that, Mihono Bourbon was referred to as prodigy of the slope. Once fans and
Oh.
critics caught wind of his new title and the reason behind it, they unanimously voted him as the most likely to win his debut race. As a matter of fact, Bourbon was rated as the most likely to win in every race of his career.
Damn.
For one. His debut took place on September 7th, 1991, at the 1,000-meter Chukyo racecourse with Sadahiro Kojima on the saddle. Kojima was the sole jockey for Bourbon's entire career, as well as a close student of Toyama. At the start of the race, Bourbon left the gate incredibly late and was forced to run in the very back of the pack due to all the competitors blocking his path. Only after reaching the final corner did he find an opening to the front. After weaving through the traffic like a nimble navigator, Bourbon was in front.
Nice. Hey,
in the final 200 meters, Bourbon passed every horse.
That's the competitive spirit right there.
Second place and set a new course record of 58.1 seconds.
Oh, damn.
News of the slope prodigy's debut spread, and everyone automatically assumed Bourbon was a sprinter type, despite being descended from Mill Reef, who was stupidly strong in medium distances. Even Toyama considered his trainee as a sprinter, but to be fair, Toyama thought every horse was a sprinter. All thoroughbreds are sprinters up to a certain distance. However,
Okay.
Toyama also firmly believed lack of stamina can be overcome with training.
Why did he become
Which is one of
Batman?
the reasons why he
That's so
trained Bourbon
fun.
so extensively.
I love this video already, man.
Sadly, Bourbon's powerful debut performance left him with inflammation around the cannon.
Yep, there you go.
He did
That's
not
yep.
return to the track until 2 months later, on November 23rd. At
Yeah.
the start of the 1,600-meter race, Bourbon rushed to the front and ran half a length behind the lead horse. He stayed on the lead's tail
There you
up
go.
until they approached the final corner. Quick side note,
His
Mihono
leader
Bourbon is
tendencies.
very competitive and gets extremely excited anytime another horse contests him for the lead position.
Oh, Kyoe
Keep that
Bogan.
in the back of your mind for now.
Somebody needs to make a
Shortly
video.
after entering the corner,
Somebody needs to make a
Bourbon and
video.
Another horse lined up with the lead, and all three left the turn at the same time. After hitting the home stretch, Mihono Bourbon plowed ahead and left everyone in his dust. Bourbon was already in first with 400 meters remaining. He continued accelerating down the straight and crossed the goal with a 6-length difference. Mihono Bourbon finished the race in 1 minute and
Damn!
35.
Yo. Whoa. Look, y'all know that, yeah, but damn.
5.1 seconds, which is referenced at the start of Bourbon's
Dude,
career.
I feel bad for
Just 2
her
weeks later,
her track
Mihono
jacket.
Bourbon entered the G1 Asahi Hai.
Futurity 6.
Just like in the
Ooh.
previous race, Bourbon ran to the front but could not take the lead. Kojima did not allow him to. Bourbon ran steadily behind.
He
the
is too
first position
keen.
horse
Very
all
keen.
the way through the final corner. Once he hit the final straight,
Lets him
Bourbon
go.
accelerated, but so did
Yeah.
everyone else. Although he managed to
Oh,
overtake the
Mambo.
horse he was chasing, another competitor lined up with him on the left. Bourbon and his new challenger struggled for first.
Ooh, ooh, you like that? Ooh,
Mihono Bourbon
ooh.
won by less than a head's length.
Machikane Town Hoiza.
Toyama was furious with Kojima. He blamed Kojima for the tightness of the race. Toyama demanded, "From now on, you let that horse run.
Harvey
Take the
Dent,
lead and
can
don't
we
hold
trust him?
back. This should have been an easy race." Mihono Bourbon's victory at the Asahi Hai.
You don't
was a
know though,
significant
right?
event for many.
Because he
It was
might gas
Kojima
out.
and Toyama's first G1 win since the integration of the grading system. But more importantly, it saved Mihono Bourbon's mother's life. After birthing Mihono Bourbon, Katsumi Eko could not conceive again. A
Oh,
mare that cannot produce offspring for a horse production ranch was
slaughterhouse.
essentially useless. She was bleeding money from the already struggling ranch,
Yeah.
and no one wanted to buy her. Keiji Haraguchi decided the best financial choice was to euthanize her.
Oh, damn.
Thankfully, his wife, Reiko, took pity on the horse and pleaded with Keiji to wait a year. Just as the year was about to be over, Mihono Bourbon won the G1 Asahi Hai. All plans for her disposal were canceled, and she remained at the ranch to produce 6 more foals over the
Oh.
course of her remaining life.
Dude, it
On
was
another
just a
note,
fluke.
Keiji Haraguchi was present to witness Bourbon's victory at the Asahi Hai. It was the first time he had seen
What
Bourbon
the
in a
fuck?
year and a half. He could barely recognize the horse because of how massively different Bourbon's body had changed. By this point in time, Mihono Bourbon was so muscular that some people said it looked like he has an extra set of butt muscles.
Damn.
Oh my god, Becky, look at her butt.
At the end of the year, Mihono Bourbon received the Best 2-Year-Old Stallion Award, which was no surprise to
One of the
anyone
hottest
considering
get
he
up
was
for G1
undefeated with a
attires too.
G1 win. In the new year, while most horses were resting during winter break,
Oh
Mihono
my
Bourbon
god.
was back on the slope.
Spartans!
No rest for the wicked, huh? In this case, Toyama was the wicked one because Bourbon sprained his
I would have loved for Yang to do Wicked the musical. There are a lot of clips that are available. That would have been more based.
left hip during slope training on January 8th. They had to cancel their entry in the
Wait, what
Shinzo
happened to his hip?
In this case, Toyama was the wicked one because Bourbon sprained his left hip during
Oh,
slope
shit.
training on January 8th. They had to cancel their entry in the Shinzan Kinen and registered for the spring stakes instead. Many of the stable staff and racing critics did not think Mihono Bourbon could handle the extra 200 meters for the upcoming race. Toyama did not share their sentiment. He relentlessly trained Bourbon throughout all of March.
Damn.
Horse racing is a sport. If you lack something, then you need to train it. The quality and quantity of training matters. On March 29, 1992, Mihono Bourbon entered the spring stakes as the second favorite horse. Clearly, there was still some doubt about Bourbon's ability to handle longer distances. That's okay though. He just has to prove them wrong.
Wait, that's
Bourbon
dirt.
dashed out of the gates and immediately
Oh,
claimed the front
it's
position
it's
with
it's
Sakura
winter.
Machino
Okay, that
on
makes
his
sense.
tail. Both
Dead
of them
grass.
remained in the front throughout the middle leg with a 1-length gap between each other.
Yo, I did not know they race each other. I low-key did not know. Holy crap.
But Machino stalled at the final corner and fell behind.
Machikane
Bourbon
Town
went into
Hoise.
overdrive as
Wait.
soon as he hit the stretch, and the race was basically over from that point on. Bourbon increased his lead with every gallop
Rice.
down the final straight and finished the
Halted
race with a
time.
massive 7-length difference. A sports writer described Mihono Bourbon's final sport as the chestnut-colored bullet train. Bourbon's overwhelming
Bullet
victory
train.
completely erased everyone's doubts about his distance aptitude. In fact, his performance at the spring stakes led everyone to believe his victory for the Satsuki Sho was guaranteed. 3 weeks later, Mihono Bourbon burst out of the gates in the first round of the Classic Triple Crown and seized the front position in a matter of seconds. Interestingly, Kojima stated Bourbon ran to the front of his own accord. He had nothing to do with it. Bourbon was
Yeah,
in the
he's
lead during
very
every
headstrong.
stage of the race. The closest anyone ever got to him was 1 length away, and that only lasted for a few seconds.
Rice.
Mihono Bourbon pulled away the moment he felt the presence of another horse approaching from behind. Even on the final corner, where most horses clump up, Bourbon stayed
Look at that.
ahead
It's
by 1 length.
so
His lead only
the
widened
ground is
on
so
the home
chewed up.
stretch. Mihono Bourbon continued speeding down the straight and crossed the finish line with a 2.5-length difference. Tears filled Kojima's eyes. After 22 years as a jockey, Kojima achieved his first classic victory at the age of 40. In
Oh,
preparation
damn.
for the Japanese
40.
Derby at the end of May, Toyama increased
What's
Mihono
insane in
Bourbon's
all of this
slope
is
training
like he's
5
from a
times
small
day,
farm,
but it proved to be too
right? He was
much for
produced by a
him.
smaller farm.
His right front leg slightly swelled up on May 15th.
Oh,
but the
god
derby was
damn it.
fast approaching. There was no time to rest. Toyama switched to pool training for the next several days so he could continue improving Bourbon's stamina without straining the legs. 4 days later,
This
Bourbon
is
was
too
back on
much,
the
I feel
slope
like.
course doing the usual 4 runs a day. He showed no signs of pain and performed every task like normal, as if nothing had happened.
I wonder if there's
On the last
medication
day of
for
May,
that.
Mihono Bourbon entered the Derby's starting gate at the outside position. Bourbon leapt out of the gate and ran towards the inside as soon as possible. Just like in the Satsuki Sho, Bourbon maintained a fast, steady pace throughout the race and never let any competitor run by his side. He stayed at
Dude,
the head of the
Rice
pack,
is always
entering
behind
and
him.
leaving the final corner. Once he reached the straight, Mihono Bourbon just took off. Despite their best efforts, the other horses could not keep up with him. The distance between Bourbon and his opponents continued increasing. By the time he crossed the finish line, Mihono Bourbon was ahead of the next horse by 4 lengths. Horse racing analysts noticed Bourbon's lap times during the Derby were magnificently precise. His times were so close together, they described it as machine-like. Henceforth,
I wonder if the training regimen, if the program wasn't as brutal as this, if he's had a better chance at nice pause, by the way. I get, you're welcome, chat. I wonder if he'd have more longevity, right?
everyone referred to Mihono Bourbon as the Cyborg. After his victory at the Japanese Derby, Mihono Bourbon was sent to Yoshida Ranch in Hokkaido to rest for some.
Oh, thank God.
For the first time since leaving Hadaguchi Ranch, Bourbon was allowed to relax and graze in the company of other horses. A well-deserved break for the 5th undefeated Double Crown winner in Japanese history. However, after 3 months, summer break was over, and it was time to return to Spartan School in September. For the next month and a half, Bourbon was back on the slope track doing 4 runs a day, as usual. His next race took place on October 18th at the G2 Kyoto Shimbunhai to compete for the right to run in the last round of the Classic Triple Crown.
Dude, it's always hurt him and Rice.
Farthest from the inner rail, Bourbon sprinted out of the gates, claimed the lead position, and moved to the inside. After passing the first corner, Mihono Bourbon maintained a comfortable 2-length lead in front of the other competitors, including Kyoei Bogen, another front-running horse.
Here we go. Dude, Rice is always be. Oh my God.
Bourbon and chased after him, but could not get closer than 1 length. Bourbon tried to escape on the home stretch and briefly broke away, but Reischauer immediately regained the lost ground. However, Bourbon finished the race before Rice had any hope of overtaking him. The race ended with Mihono Bourbon in first by 1.5 lengths. He set another new course record of 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Only 3 weeks remain until Kikasho. As you'd expect, Toyama continued to train Mihono Bourbon as much as possible. 4 days before the Kikasho, Bourbon beat the slope course record by 0.2 seconds and clocked a new time at 24.9 seconds during his second run.
That's, yeah.
Like a well-oiled machine. He ran the same time on his 4th try as well. Afterwards, Bourbon spent the next 2 days training in the pool and then rested on the 7th of November. On another note, a few days before the start of the Kikasho, Bourbon's jockey, Kojima, was resting at his house when he suddenly received a visitor. It was Mikio Matsunaga, Kyoei Bogen's jockey. Matsunaga boldly declared, "I'm going to break away and take the lead."
Bro, chat, if you have not watched this, please. I know this is not related to horse racing. Robin Hood Men in Tights. Please. This is one of the best comedy films of all time.
And
it's corny and cheesy, but that's why it's really good.
Kojima was confused about what just transpired. Why did his opponent suddenly blurt out their
strategy? Man.
Was it a challenge? Or a warning? In hindsight,
that's the sound that the sheriff made.
At a press conference right before the Kikasho, Toyama was asked, "What does it mean to be a sprinter in a 3,000-meter race?" "It's pitiful, isn't it? The horse does not want to run. He is doing so because people in the industry force him to. There is only one opportunity for the classics, so we cannot miss this chance. What does it mean for a sprinter to run in the Kikasho? I can only think of one thing. Humans are greedy." Afterwards,
like him, he's so greedy for training.
Instructed him, "Run away and take the lead. Kyoei Bogen is no match for Bourbon.
Yeah.
Trust
the
strength of our horse."
Yeah.
However,
about that,
doubt clouded Kojima's mind. He has always been anxious about the increasing distance thrusted upon Mihono Bourbon ever since the Asahi Hai. Kojima has faithfully followed Toyama's instructions up until now, but his racing instincts and Matsunaga's declaration were screaming at him in this moment. This is not a race we can win with speed. If we engage in a direct battle with Kyoei Bogen, it will be a miserable defeat. On November 8th, 1992, at 3:35 p.m., the Kikasho starting gates opened. Mihono Bourbon instantly claimed the lead, but just
Kyoei
like
Bogen
Matsunaga
really
announced,
booked it.
Kyoei Bogen
Oof.
sprinted up
Look
with
at that.
all his might and passed Bourbon in a matter of seconds.
He did not like
only did he
that.
pass Bourbon, but he was in front by over 3 lengths. Mihono Bourbon's competitive side kicked in
Yeah.
immediately, and he ferociously pursued Bogen. Kojima desperately tried to suppress his horse's desire to
Yeah,
run,
he couldn't.
but his efforts were in vain. None of his commands reached his horse. At this point, he was just along for the ride.
He was
Even
angry.
before reaching the first corner, Mihono Bourbon was back on Bogen's tail. Once they cleared the corner, Bogen sped up and another gap formed between the two.
Damn.
Bourbon refused to let him escape.
They 1v1'd.
Chasing after him. The pace of these two rampaging runaways was so fast that they cleared the first 1,000 meters in 59.7 seconds, which was exactly 3 seconds faster than the year before. Kyoei Bogen finally started slowing down at the 1,000 meter remaining mark, which allowed the other runners to slowly catch up. At 600 meters remaining, Bourbon caught up and passed Bogen as they entered the final corner. Mihono Bourbon
Yeah,
was
about
only by
that.
1 length when he entered the
About
home
that.
stretch.
About that.
Two
Yep.
horses were quickly gaining on him.
Yep.
At 200
About
meters
that.
remaining, Rice Shower and Machikane Tanhoiza ran by his side. In the last 15 meters,
Yeah.
Rice
No
Shower
juice
passed
left.
Mihono Bourbon and won the Kikasho. Bourbon barely managed to get second place by half a length. When the camera zooms in, you can clearly see the disappointment of the spectators. Although
And you could
Rice Shower
hear the
improved
boos
and
too in the
shined
original
for his
video.
victory at the Kikasho, the most hated horse on the receiving end of the fans' criticism was Kyoei Bogen.
Yeah.
Stupid horse. He didn't let Bourbon run away. He interfered even though he had no chance of winning. I can't believe that stupid horse ruined Bourbon's Triple Crown. What the media and fans did not know at the time was Kyoei Bogen and his jockey, Matsunaga, had no choice. Bogen's trainer instructed Matsunaga to interfere and prevent Mihono Bourbon from winning the Triple Crown. Even though Kyoei Bogen primarily ran in mile and some medium races, his team willingly sacrificed their horse in the 3,000 meter Kikasho. Matsunaga was only in his 6th year as a jockey, so he did not dare disobey the trainer.
Yeah.
As an act of good faith, Matsunaga deliberately revealed their running strategy to Kojima and prayed Mihono Bourbon would not give chase if they were too far ahead. Well, we know how that turned out. Obviously, everyone on Bourbon's team was seriously saddened. Even trainer Toyama admitted dueling with Kyoei Bogen was a massive mistake. But no matter. There will be more races to conquer.
Nope.
Or so they thought. After the race, veterinarians confirmed lameness in Mihono Bourbon's right hind leg.
Yeah.
Their plans
Too
to
much.
compete in the Japan Cup and Arimakinen were cancelled. Bourbon rested for the remainder of the year at Toyama Stable. It should be no surprise to anyone that Mihono Bourbon was recognized as the best 3-year-old stallion and received the JRA's Horse of the Year award for being the Double Crown winner of 1992. Bourbon's team started prepping his racing schedule for the new year, but nothing could have prepared them for the coming storm. On January 27th, Bourbon's right hind leg, the same lame leg from 2 months ago, developed inflammation around the tibia bone.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Too much.
there would be no racing for the foreseeable future. Mihono Bourbon
And you
was sent
gotta
to
think,
Yoshino
right?
Ranch to comfortably graze in recovery.
It's a
But
mixture of.
during his time at the ranch, Bourbon inexplicably broke his metatarsal bone on the
There you go.
same freaking leg.
Yeah, there you
in
go.
early April. As if things were not bad enough, trainer Tameo Toyama passed away on May 29, 1993, at the age of 61 due to cancer. Toyama has been fighting esophageal cancer for several years, but after the Kikasho, it spread to his liver and he was hospitalized. While in the hospital, Toyama wrote his autobiography, Training to Make the Strongest Horse, Why Mihono Bourbon Became a Famous Horse,
Damn.
which was published 1 month after his passing. In 1994, he received the JRA Award for Equestrian Culture in recognition of his contributions to the horse racing industry. Toyama's wife and 2 of his students accepted the award on his behalf. In honor of his teacher, Kojima proclaimed, "I was not a top performer, but he trained me nonetheless. He was a strict master, and at the same time, he treated me with more love than a real father. When it comes to horses, nothing is more important for my master." If you ever wondered why
Damn.
Mihono Bourbon in the anime and game always refers to the trainer as master, it is because of the master-student relationship between Toyama and Kojima. After Toyama's passing, Mihono Bourbon was forced to bounce around between stables because Toyama's successor, Hideyuki Mori, refused to take him in.
That makes sense.
Luckily, Shigeki Matsumoto, another Toyama student,
It's either they take him in, as for the legacy, right? Or I can't touch it. It's his. Find somebody else. It's there's no in between that.
eventually accepted Bourbon into his stable. Bourbon stayed with Matsumoto only for a month before he was transferred to the JRA's Racehorse Rehabilitation Center in October.
Oh,
It's unclear what type of treatment he received, but the facility is well known for their horse hot springs, so I like to think that Mihono Bourbon spent his time bathing in them. Bourbon eventually made a full recovery, but he never returned to racing in 1993. In January of 94, everyone agreed it would be best to retire Mihono Bourbon.
yeah, because it's 3 times in the same leg. That's like, yeah, don't.
A retirement ceremony was held on February 6th at the Tokyo racecourse with Bourbon wearing number 15, the same number he wore when he won the Japanese Derby.
It's cool.
His final record stands at 7 consecutive wins and 1 second place finish at the Kikasho. After retirement, Mihono Bourbon entered the Monbet stud farm to begin breeding, but his stud career was unsuccessful. Despite his incredible racing record, Mihono Bourbon's parents were looked down upon. Everyone attributed Bourbon's success to the intense Spartan-style training. It was not talent, but hard work that
Yeah, but then again, like, if you look at, we're gonna look at later.
enabled him to become a legendary horse. This fact became even more evident when none of his offspring could achieve anything higher than a win at the local level. After
Yeah, because nobody wants to have their top broodmares covered by him because there's already some. It's so funny, right? Like, he's one of the best, and then after retiring, like, oh yeah, never mind. Not amazing pedigree.
For 18 years as a breeding stallion, Mihono Bourbon only sired 265 foals.
260. Wait, what?
Breeding stallion. Mihono Bourbon only sired 200 after 18 years as a breeding stallion.
18 years. So, wow, that
Mihono
sucks.
Bourbon only sired 265 foals, and there were only 40 wins among them. He retired from stud duty in 2012.
Hey, you gotta also think, this is the time where Sunday Sans is already in Japan, so that kind of makes sense.
And was moved to Smile Farm to spend the rest of his life in relaxation. Sadly, in the same year Mihono Bourbon moved to Smile Farm, Sadahiro Kojima passed away. Kojima
What?
raced for a few more years after riding Mihono Bourbon, but he ultimately retired and became a trainer in 2001 to follow in his master's footsteps. However, over the next decade, Kojima struggled with his stable to the extent that he could barely pay his employees' salaries.
Oh,
On top
fuck.
of that, Kojima shouldered his family's large debt. Eventually, the burden became too much to bear, and Kojima ultimately took his own life on
Oh,
January
God.
23rd, 2012, at the age of 60. Both Toyama and Kojima are
That's-
well remembered for their efforts in raising Mihono Bourbon to be
That
one of the
sucks.
strongest horses of the early 1990s. Meanwhile, at Smile Farm, Bourbon was fully enjoying his time in retirement. He no longer had the obligation of constantly training or the need to perform. Funnily, Mihono Bourbon became a super lazy horse. It's said that while other horses ran across the fields and up the hills, Bourbon never exercised and
He's
spent
just-
most of his
yeah.
time eating grass and occasionally rolling around. Can you
There we go.
really blame him?
Aw.
He probably never wants to step foot on another hill again after all those runs on the slope track.
The mud bath.
Although he acted like a potato, his body was still incredibly muscular. Mihono Bourbon's remaining time at Smile Farm was mostly uneventful and peaceful.
That's
He was
good.
tenderly cared for.
That's
and
good.
often received visitors from fans.
Yeah.
For a retired horse, it doesn't get much better than that.
He lived a full life. That's good.
Everyone eventually succumbs to the test of time.
Yeah.
On the morning of February 21st, 2021, Mihono Bourbon became bedridden
Oh.
and painlessly passed away at 6 p.m. the next day at the age of 28. No major complications were found.
That is not bad.
He died to natural causes.
That is not bad.
Mihono Bourbon is regarded as a
That's old
legendary
age right
horse
there.
that broke the boundaries of one limitations. He was born from horses everyone considered as losers, and in spite of outsiders' opinions, Mihono Bourbon carved his name in the world of horse racing.
I feel like it's more of like he came from a smaller operation than the pedigree, I would assume. Right?
In the year 2000, he was ranked 17 as the JRA's 100 famous horses of the 20th century.
Damn, 17 is high.
Additionally, many people regarded him as the strongest runaway horse in history. Mihono Bourbon's efforts popularized the slope track so much that the training centers in other regions, such as Kanto, installed their own slope courses, and many trainers incorporate slope training into their
I
programs.
mean, you kind of, especially now, you kind of need that right
No
now.
other horse has been able to withstand Spartan training like Bourbon did. It's even more amazing when you consider Mihono Bourbon persisted through each grueling training session without making a fuss. He always maintained a calm, gentle demeanor.
Very
His
professional.
easygoing personality was so pleasing that the JRA featured Mihono Bourbon in a commercial back in 1996.
He has amazing hair, by the way.
Mayu Suruta, who he has never met before, straddled his back. Bourbon barely reacted. Mihono Bourbon's legacy is definitive proof you do not need talent to be exceptional. With hard work, we can exceed our limitations. Don't let someone tell you what you can or cannot do.
I like sure, Spartan training, that very that strong hard program, has a lot for that, but at the same time, you gotta admit that I feel like that breeding just nicked, right? It just worked for this specific one.
Shatter their expectations. Strengthen your body and mind. Overwhelm all who dare doubt your greatness. Embrace the Spartan spirit. Embrace the spirit of Mihono Bourbon.
Plus, if you think that's a good video. Plus, if you look at him, like he looks good, right? I'm gonna check. By the way, this is by Yang with Agi. Yang with Aji. I still don't know. What the fuck? I'm just gonna let Kaba. Right? Because if you look at him, he looks good. I'm not super good with like the confirmation and shit. And this is when he's retired. Like he has a big butt. Like he has nice, like you saw, right? Like he's very muscular. These are all retired. These are all retired photos. There we go. He has a big chest too. He has nice shoulders. Like he has everything, right? So physically, he's great. And then you have the training, and then you have the where's the because the only I would assume the only like criticism like legit is like magnitude and especially the mom, right? Aside from that, like it's the damn side that's kind of like suspect, but like magnitude is still by Mill Reef, right? Like how many somewhat unknown Sunday silences are there that became stallions too, right? Because if you look at this, like, dude, 6 out of 11 is good. 10 out of 21 is good, right? Like magnitude was no slouch, right? So like I don't I mean, who knows? I just think that, like, sure, you can still criticize like the pedigree, but I feel like the most the thing that I guess stamped in people's heads is he's from a smaller farm. I would just assume that it's that, instead of like, oh, the pedigree. Like, no, dude, you have Mill Reef here, right? So anyway, again, that's a video. It's going to be on the description below. I enjoyed that video a lot, and thank you so much for whoever, I forgot who recommended this in the recommendation channel. Again, if you want to check out the Discord, lots of horse racing talk among the chat, a lot of Uma talk as well, among other horse racing games. If you want to hang out, we have a few great guys there that would always like talk to you. And we are pushing for 1,000. That's right. We need to get 1,000. We're almost there. We're almost there. So I would appreciate if you click that subscribe button over there, or else, hey, maybe Chiono might, do this.